You guys are aware, Nepheesa Collier, the Minnesota Lynx star, and hard to call anybody the WNBA star, but she went on a tirade criticizing Cathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA. I told you all yesterday, hey, look, Cathy Engelbert's incompetent. So is Adam Silver. The people running the NBA and the WNBA, they're incompetent. There's no question. They're put there for their incompetence. They're easy to push over and bully. I'm not defending Cathy Engelbert, but I think what Nepheesa Collier did was stupid, immature, shouldn't be celebrated. She went full-blown, black queen, be quiet, a black woman's talking, and I've been mistreated, and I got injured, and the commissioner didn't even reach out and talk to me, and it's about personal relationships, and I know how to run a league because I started Unrivaled, and these venture capitalists have given me millions of dollars to blow on a 3-on-3 Gus Macker basketball league. And so I know more than Cathy Engelbert, and everybody's just going, oh, black queen, go off, queen, Wakanda forever. And it's retarded. It's bad business. And of course, an idiot like Stephen A. Smith hears that and says, oh, black queen, how can I worship you? Because that's all we do. We worship women. And pretend like anything they do, because I've been scolded in my prayer group very politely for using the word moist. I'm trying to use the word moist less often, but it's a word that I don't think is profane, that I think conveys my thoughts and the reality of what's gone on here in America and globally is men are so weak for the moistness of women that we throw out all common sense and all reality and just champion anything they do and say, and we pretend like they can do no wrong because we're so weak and have so little discipline because of our obsession with moistness. And so here's Stephen A. Smith calling for Cathy Engelbert to resign because this black queen who runs a 3-on-3 Gus Macker basketball league that loses millions of dollars and no one watches and no one wants to see women play 3-on-3 basketball. Hardly anyone wants to see them play 5-on-5 basketball. But because she's a black woman and because Stephen A. Smith can score points with other black women by championing Nepheesa Collier, this is what he does. Let's play shot number 10.
When a player, any player, but especially one of that magnitude, attacks you publicly like that, that weak-ass statement Commissioner Engelbert gave is not good enough. And I'm going to say it. It was a weak-ass statement. Could you imagine somebody directing comments and criticisms at you, taking conversations they've had with you directly and telling the world what you said? And did you see that statement Commissioner Engelbert gave? She basically provided no defense of herself. That was an attack against your leadership. It was an attack against your integrity. It was an attack against your character. And that's the statement you came out with. Listen, I've reached out to Cathy Engelbert's office. I said, you are welcome to come on my show today to explain, because I want to know how the hell somebody said something like that about you as the commissioner. Dougie, come on, man. Could you imagine a commissioner being called out like that directly? And that timid, tepid statement, she looks guilty as hell. And then I'm looking at it and I'm saying, did you really say that? Mm-hmm. Did you really say that Caitlin Clark should thank her Heavenly Stars, that she wouldn't be worth anything if she wasn't playing in the WNBA? Did you really say? See, all of these things that Nepheesa Collier brought up, I'm sitting back going like this. Girl, you got my ears perked. I'm listening, because she got very, very specific. And for her to come, the commissioner to come back with that, you can't have her at the negotiating table talking to players. Basically, Nepheesa Collier says she's in the way of our growth and our development as a league, not just on the player side, but on the league side. She's not good for basketball. At the end of the day, you have a star player in the league saying the commissioner, this individual, is in the way of all of us. And that was her statement. I believe she should hand in her resignation.
Let me count the many idiocies expressed in that. And that was the response? When there's that kind of attack on your character and your integrity? That's the response? Let me walk Stephen A. Smith through a story here. There's a prominent, well-respected, super accomplished sports journalist who read a book by a very popular sports writer, sports media personality, read his memoir and walked in significant detail through all the fabrications in Stephen A. Smith's memoir. There was an attack on Stephen A. Smith's credibility, integrity, honesty, reputation. And Stephen A. Smith's response was 40 minutes of cussing and calling me fat bastard. There was a serious attack and questioning of Stephen A. Smith's narrative that he provided about himself. I didn't offer up a bunch of opinions about Stephen A. Smith. I walked you through the farcical lies that he told about himself. And his response was, everybody hates that fat bastard. Now, you want to talk about somebody who should have resigned? When they've been out here, man, I hit 17 straight three-pointers, and Big House Gaines gave me a scholarship on the spot. I was in New York in February, temperature's about 20 degrees outside, maybe it's 10 below, and a former Winston-Salem State basketball player took me to an outdoor park in February in New York and put me through a basketball tryout. And I did so well in that basketball tryout that the next weekend, that player picked me up in a car and drove me to Winston-Salem, North Carolina for a basketball tryout on a Sunday for a college basketball team that was still in season and played a game on that Saturday, but they had a practice on that Sunday, and I showed up late, walked onto the court, and knocked down 17 straight threes and got a scholarship on the spot. Someone told that farcical story, and it was called out. Someone called out, I got a 6-inch screw in my knee, and it's still here to this day. I snapped my knee in half. And that's your response? Jason Whitlock is a fat bastard? That's your response? You got a 6-inch screw in your knee. And we talked to doctors that claimed that, you had a knee-gina surgery. You had a vagina installed in your knee so that they could put a 6-inch screw in your knee. Do you understand how farcical this is? You're living a lie. Everything about you is a lie. You run around with this 5'10" Gary Stevens, who was 6'3" allegedly when he was in college, but he actually went to college in New York, but he claims to be your teammate from Winston-Salem State. Y'all fly around together on private jets and go meet Dion and all this other stuff. And this is my former college basketball teammate, this midget who played basketball at some Division IV school in New York, met his wife there, But y'all running around on this facade. The dude to the left of Stephen A, to the right of the screen. Stephen A. Smith is a shade over 6'1", or he's like 6'1". This guy is allegedly 6'3". He's about 5'9", 5'10". That's Stephen A. Smith's best friend from college, former college basketball teammate. This has all been called out. This isn't name calling. And that's your response? And you want Cathy Engelbert to resign. Help us grow the Fearless Army. Pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with all your fearless friends.